Hey, well, sorry about the lack of updates last week. Took longer to pack up for the trip than I expected. By the time I was done with that, it was midnight Wednesday night. I was completely exhausted, completely unprepared to go. So, since I basically didn't, I left on the day that stuff arrived and didn't open it, and I came back technically yesterday, but, well, I came back in time for this week's DVD to arrive on the release date, so I'm doing it, making up for it by releasing it this week's a day early and making it the combined stuff of all the stuff I intended to show last week. So it's a big update, and this actually works out for the better since this week was looking like it would be kind of small anyways. So we've got last week's new releases, as well as this week's new release, and oh, and I guess I came back in time. That's a really uplifting thing to see, because I've been curious about Angel Beats for a long time now, and this would finally be this week's release, piled with everything else. Completely unopened just because, well, I still haven't even unpacked all my stuff from job, but from getting home. So let's see. Let's begin with these. I'll take this one, put it on the side for all the other stuff. And let's begin with first things first. We've got the Baccano Blu-ray disc box. People were suggesting I buy it simply because it's limited edition, so there would be a limited run, and I decided to go ahead and do that, since at the time I thought I actually had more money for the stuff than I thought. That was one reason this week was actually going to be small without last week's stuff, because I did not have as much in the account after the trip as I thought, or rather by the time I left for the trip. Not that that's y'all's concern. It does mean that I'm more restricted on what I can get on the 31st. But this is the Baccano Blu-ray disc box. In last week's new release, we have Vampire Knight Guilty DVD 2 and Allison and Lillia Generation 1, which has the first 13 episodes of the series. And then new this week, we have Koihime Muso, Otome, Shin Koihime Muso. This is a complete third season, although I have not watched the second season yet. So the other thing you saw that came in the mail was this, which is Burn Up Scramble. I actually like that it comes with this slide out thing. I thought it was, I mean, it didn't occur to me that it was Burn Up Scramble when I first opened it. See, it says it there on the side, and it's got 3 discs in it. Now I bought this used, so while I've got this opened up, I think it's probably important to take a quick peek to make sure all the discs are in there. I'll figure out later if they actually rip right, and by extension means the discs are perfectly fine. Although I guess the later in that case is significantly later, because I've also fallen behind on updating my media server with a 3 terabyte drive. I've had it for a while, just haven't done it, so I've got a huge backlog of stuff, all of City Hunter. But yeah, the rest of Burn Up also shown up. We got Burn Up W here, and of course I already had what's it called, I don't know, but a Burn Up Excess. These 3 Burn Ups and the other Burn Up I had should mean I have all of it. Not that I know if that necessarily is, if this is necessarily a super duper really awesome series to have, but at the minimum, I really enjoy having all of it. I guess since this is on top of the pile, I'll talk about this next. My friend who picks up stuff from Half Price Books picked up Salaryman Kintaro Disc 1 for me. So I picked up Discs 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, you may be worried because 5 says it ends at episode 20. As far as I can tell, that is actually a complete release. Now, That's not everything that I got, because not only were there a massive number of DVDs this week, there were also some expensive ones, and now we're talking about the expensive one. First up, how do I show this? We got Kimagure Orange Road. You know, just a sec. Let me move these aside, like I probably should have from the start. And then as we take a look at Kimagure Orange Road, so this is really weird. It's a box set with 12 discs inside of it, so they don't quite fit right. If I take these aside, we can finally take a look at the entire box. Start putting this thing back together by looking at the individual discs. Because as y'all may recall, 2 weeks ago I got new Kimagure Orange Road, which is actually the second Kimagure Orange Road movie. And since I'm not interested in... I want my anime to get list, my high priority stuff, which would be series that I already have part of, I want those to shrink. So I kind of went a little obsessive on making sure I got this. And as you can see, I bought the entire box set. I originally tried to buy it off eBay, but then the bid I was on ended up going over the price of the Amazon copy, and I bought that one, the Amazon one. But it's all here, and this is one of the things I've actually ripped and is waiting to copy on the server. It also came with this manual, TV liner notes. I'm not sure if it should have had a case to it or not. It doesn't seem like it was damaged, but it also seems like something that could be not there. I'm not entirely sure, since this is my first and hopefully only copy of it that I would buy. But of course, that's not all of Kimagure Orange Road. I also got the OVA+Movie box set, which has 3 DVDs in it. The first Kimagure Orange Road OVA DVD, the second Kimagure Orange Road DVD, and the first movie. That should give me all of Kimagure Orange Road. And that would be this week's and last week's new anime DVDs combined. Ta-da! So it's actually pretty surprising how regular an update this is, other than the additional amount of DVDs. When you get down to it, this week's update pretty much has nothing for the past week, because even though there were a couple of requests for anime while I was gone, for the most part, since I didn't fulfill last week's anime inside the box requests, nobody felt too encouraged to ask for more, and that actually is kind of nice, since I did work from home today, and even though I'm doing it early, it's happening during garbage night, so it's a busy night. It was nice that inside the box wasn't terribly huge, and since I didn't watch anything in preparation for the trip, I basically only had a week's worth of anime watched during the trip, so for the most part it's pretty regular update for a single week instead of a 2-week backed up update. Even the anime DVDs, there were a ton of them, but at the same time, only one of them arrived today. Everything else was here last Wednesday, and the one thing that arrived today is the thing that came out this week that I didn't already have. It's kind of funny that way, isn't it? Anyways, looking at next week's release, it looks like there's 3 titles on DVD Aficionado. I haven't really checked to see if those are listed on Amazon, but it does seem a bit small, so I'm going to have to figure out how to pad that a little bit. But again, since I'm saving up for TV, I probably mentioned that in a video y'all see later, but basically my TV's not starting anymore, and my guess is I have some bulging capacitors. It's probably a couple $1 fix if it ends up being the case, but I have to open it up and investigate how to do it, etc., etc., etc. And since I've been wanting to get a new TV anyways, I should probably get a little more conservative with my anime DVD purchasing so that I can actually buy that new TV that I want. I have a price range in mind, and I think saving up for about a month should do it. And in other words, I will pad next week's release, but I'm probably not going to say, okay, I'm going to get all of this entire 20 DVD series or anything crazy like that. I may just buy a couple things here and there and start, just padding it with things I can next day ship for next week, since I also drained my account getting ready for the trip. and mispredicting a couple of big hits that would happen. I mean, Kimagure Orange Road, both the TV series and the OVA+Movie collection together were $600 total. And there were a couple of other expenses that I might talk about sometime later, but they're not anime related, so there's no real need. So, I'll pad next week's release probably with a couple other things I can next day ship. It'll probably be much smaller than this week's. Maybe a more sane release week. So, we'll have to see what happens. Yeah, I guess I can't think of anything else to mention here. So, I'll see y'all next week. And feel free to make your requests for Inside the Box as normal.